The safety is off. There's a round in the chamber. This is Armed Alabama. Sponsored by McCoy Outdoor Company, Mobile's hometown full-line outdoor sporting products and gear store. An interactive talk show discussing self-defense, product reviews, shooting tips, safety, and more. Your calls, comments, and texts welcome at 343-0106. Now, here are your hosts, retired judge and certified NRA instructor Rusty Johnston and certified NRA law enforcement instructor Adam Strange.
They're gonna pry these guns right out of my hands when they come to take them away. I believe in the rights that my fathers gave me when he signed the Constitution that day. No misguided president or crooked politician with a greasy pocket be spared. When the hard-working man gets tired of your cry, it's gonna rain wrath, beware. Don't tread on me, I'm American free. You're not gonna take it away. I stand up and fight for my freedoms and rights. That's a price you'll have to pay. Don't tread on me, I'm American free. Red-blooded to the core. You ain't ever had a fight in your life like the fight that you're itching for.
All right, welcome to Armed Alabama. Glad you could join us tonight in this 2-hour show. We are several weeks now into our new format, 2-hour show from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Glad you can join us. I'm Adam Strange, and with me is Judge Rusty Johnston, and hopefully we are your favorite bitter clingers.
Not sure what that word means, so I'm going to take exception to that. But
well, that was a nod to Obama saying, calling out the bitter clingers clinging to guns and religion. So,
oh yeah, I guess that's us. So I'm kind of like the priest there at Normandy when the Muslim terrorists marched in and did kill him, behead him. Stay back, Satan! Which I think is an incredibly brave thing to do, even though they killed him as they would have anyway.
I think it is. I don't know if we already talked about this, but something that the news media didn't bring up is, I think, the significance of that area.
You're kidding. The news media did not bring up something?
I think with the significance of that area, and I think the church, too, because we're talking about a church that dates back to the 11th century.
Right.
And, of course, from that area is Normandy, was
where
north of
you
France.
And me, both our relatives are from.
Right. So where our namesakes are from, but that's also where the Crusades started as well. You had William the Conqueror that came from there and conquered England in 1066. So
Battle of Hastings.
Yes.
That should have been my trivia question.
Well, that would have been a good one. But, also, that's where the Crusades started. But the Crusades, what a lot of people don't realize, was actually in response to Muslims killing Christians that went to visit where Jesus died.
The Holy Land, yeah.
Yes.
They had ransacked and murdered so many Christians when they took over the Holy Land, and then they act like some grave injustice was done to them, not to mention when later in 1453, when they took over Constantinople, and at St. Sophia's, that was the main basilica, there was literally a bloodbath as they took that after almost 100-year siege.
So if you just now joined us, this show is called Armed Alabama, and we talk about self-defense, firearm and ammo selection, home protection, concealed carry, training, proper range etiquette, and, of course, the law, Alabama law and Mississippi law. And we also teach firearm classes, which, Judge, as you know, we had a class this past weekend. We had a really good group of people, and they were just ecstatic about what they learned and what we were able to teach them.
And it was so nice and cool that everybody had a great time. No IVs had to be given out or anything.
Yeah, it was hot, but we had a good time at Three Brothers Range, and we want to thank them for their hospitality.
And one thing to remember, and you reminded me on the first show, you get no PC here, no Marxism. If you're looking for All Things Considered on NPR, you've tuned into the wrong channel. And besides, that closed down when Pravda did. And if you're one of those delicate flowers that get offended by talking about guns, you need to find another channel to look at. And I think NPR or one of the channels on television that shows the ballet, they're open. We talk about guns and self-defense.
And we got a lot of response emails regarding that our class we had this past Saturday, which was August the 6th. So if you were not able to attend this past week's class, this past Saturday's, the next class will be September 17th. So be sure, if you're interested in a firearms defense class, taught by myself and Judge Johnson, please email us, Adam@ArmedAlabama, or the Judge at Armed Alabama, and we will definitely get back with you and put you on the list.
And for some of you, I'll admit, I know your age, and I kind of purposely didn't push you to come in the class, even though you wanted to. I just knew there was a heat advisory, and I knew you'd be more comfortable in a month or two.
Yeah, and we actually, there was a covered area that we shot in at Three Brothers, so it was really great to keep the sun off your back.
Yeah. But it would have been terrible out in the sun.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
We couldn't have had it.
And they even had some fans set up, so that was really good.
They were very accommodating.
So if you want to call in with questions or comments to the show, you can call us at 251-343-0106, or you can text us at the same number, 251-343-0106.
Adam, let's remember one thing, that this is the topic, but you can call on any matter related to firearms. What we want to try to alert people to is trying to stay aware and not letting your guard down so criminals can attack you and take advantage of you. It means staying alert. It may surprise you about a violent assault that happened this past weekend, and I'll let you go into that at the proper time. But you got to remain alert. Don't be looking at your cell phone all the time when you're walking around, because that's when things go bad.
Speaking of cell phones, if you miss our show by being out of town or out of the listening area, you can tune in to an app on your phone. The app is called TuneIn, and you can go on there and you can search for this station, 106.5. You can download that app, of course, and listen to the show on your smartphone. Or if you miss our show entirely, you can listen to our previous show on armedalabama.com. And be sure and check out our Facebook page. It's Armed Alabama Radio, FM Talk 106.5. And we're on Twitter, of course, Armed Alabama 106.5. So be sure and check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. Hit us up. Tell us you like the show. If you have any comments, please leave them. We'll be glad to check them out. And if you have any comments or questions, we'll definitely answer them.
Adam, well, we got a minute. I'm going to try to answer a question from a couple of weeks ago. A man that has some disabilities, has trouble walking. I think he's on a walker now. Asked the question, where can I shoot in Mobile? And I at least called and looked over some of the shooting ranges. He didn't want to travel down to Biola Battery because I thought Gunport might be a good alternative. Really, within the city limits or the police jurisdiction, there are not a lot of shooting ranges. The only place I could think of is Roberts out there. It's an indoor shooting range that is on way out on Old Shell Road near Schillinger's. And with a walker, he'd be fine there. So some people don't like indoor ranges. Some people love them. But that would be a place that he shouldn't have any trouble getting in and out of. And that's way out. Old Shell, I say way out. It's some people, they got to come way in. But it's on Old Shell Road near Schillinger's Road. I think it's called Robert's Shooting Rack or Robert's Shooting Range. You shouldn't have any trouble finding it.
And I think somebody that was handicapped or limited abilities could access that facility versus a regular gun range.
Right.
So glad you could join us tonight. Be sure if you have calls or texts, you can call us at 251-343-0106. And we've got a huge show for you. Check us out after the break. This is Armed Alabama.
When your air conditioner is no longer keeping you cool, call Grayson Air Conditioning. Their 6 factory-trained service technicians on duty 24/7 will get you comfortable again. Grayson Air Conditioning is a factory-authorized Carrier dealer but services all brands, including Mitsubishi ductless mini split systems. Serving Southwest Alabama since 1977, David Grayson and Grayson Air Conditioning is a certified licensed contractor and is recognized by Alabama Power Company as a superior solutions dealer. That's Grayson Air Conditioning for all your air conditioning needs. Call 633-5665 for service.
Looking for land, commercial space, or a home to purchase? Or do you have real estate that you would like to sell? Then you need to talk with Mamoon Siddiq at RE/MAX Partners, 7221 Grelot Road, Suite B. Mamoon is dedicated to providing his clients trustworthy real estate expertise and professional, dependable service. Whether buying or selling your primary residence or a second home, or relocating to a new neighborhood, Mamoon can help make your home ownership dreams come true. Email Mamoon at remax.net. That's MAMUN at remax.net.
Mobile Bay Coins, this is Ron.
Hey, Ron, are you ready for the ultimate story?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so there's this hypnotist, Mr. Magic, on the cruise the missus and I went on last week, and after several disco ball rum drinks, she thought it would be fun to get hypnotized.
Come on,
Mr.
Dave.
Magic does his thing and has everybody on stage clucking like chickens. The gimmick was that when anyone said the word ketchup for the rest of the cruise, then they would cluck like a chicken until the stop word was said. And at the end of the cruise, the hypnotist would bring them all back on stage and release them. Guess who missed the ship on the last stop? Yeah, Mr. Magic. The kids are having a blast asking for ketchup just to hear her cluck until someone says mustard. Mr. Magic gets into port next week, and she really needs something pretty.
Come on in. Bring her with you. This might be fun. We're having hot dogs for lunch.
Mobile Bay Coins, much more than a coin store, at 2204 Government Street, on Facebook, online at mobilebaycoins.com, or call 251-725-1590.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. You forgot to say please.
All right, welcome back to Armed Alabama. Glad you could join us tonight. Want to call out our newest advertiser, and that is Grayson's Air Conditioning. And we want to thank them for advertising on Armed Alabama and all our other advertisers and sponsors. And that includes David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, Dr. Justin Foster at Foster's Chiropractic of Tillman's Corner, Grayson's Heating and Air, of course, Mamoon Siddiq at RE/MAX Realtors, and McCoy Outdoors. If you would like to advertise your business on Armed Alabama or would like to just contribute to the show because you like it, please email us, Adam at Armed Alabama or the Judge at Armed Alabama, or you can contact this station, and we would be much obliged to have your sponsorship and your advertisement.
Well, Adam, while you're on the subject, a benefactor said, listen, I will pledge some money, and if there's some gun organization that can help you all there, I would like to pledge this money, and we're working on the ad, but so I'm going to ad lib it here. And I thought, we need a group that helps us in Montgomery because we got beaten on a bill and several bills that are relevant to Alabama. The NRA, the Second Amendment Foundation, especially the Second Amendment Foundation, those are great groups, but they're not spending 100% of their time in the state of Alabama. And that's what we need, somebody that spends their time and is only concerned with the state of Alabama. So I thought about it for a while, and I thought, yeah, you're right. We need to go ahead and donate or have this to gin up membership for somebody that's going to spend their time getting membership so we can put pressure on the legislature to do things like, for instance, the car carry bill, where we were just out-politic. There was no question about that. For instance, on carrying on colleges. That's just ridiculous that we can't even get a decent bill filed on that, and things like that. So we're not going to call them a sponsor, but we're going to have ads running. It'll be made by next week for an organization that I'm personally a member of called Bama Carry. It's BamaCarry.org. That's www.BamaCarry.org. and they're Alabama's only no-compromise gun group. You should go to that site and join. I think the membership is just $20 a year. I could be wrong about that. We'll get it right pretty soon. But they work just in the state of Alabama. They lobby for Alabama, and they don't have hired folks. They're just lobbying for us. And as I said, no compromise. They're not making deals. Well, if you give me that, we'll give you this. BamaCarry.org. Go check them out. We need members, probably need to double that membership in a year, and hopefully this show will get that done. And we're going to run 2 ads during the show. If we got a couple, if 3-4 of you want to get together and raise, I guess it would take $1,000 to finish off this part of the next, would that be 25, 24 weeks? We could double the amount of ads running for them, and that may even help the membership more. So you don't have to have a business to, advertising, selling tires or something like that. If you just want to help out, 3 or 4 of you could get together and put in a few $100s each, and we could double the ads that are running for BamaCarry.org. They're a great group. Say, I'm a member, and we need them to have a big presence in this state so we can get some stuff done in the legislature. www.BamaCarry.org. That's all one string, no spaces. Join them and think about helping them out.
All right, our first caller tonight is Kevin. Glad you could join us tonight on Armed Alabama.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy what y'all do.
Thank you, Kevin.
One of the things that always amazes me from the hypocrisy from the left, they're all the time on the Second Amendment, but isn't it amazing that all of your movie, your rock stars, your left-wing politicians, what did they have with them and their family?
High-powered security teams. Yeah.
Armed bodyguards.
Yeah.
So if they're not worried about the people out there saying that, the right-wing wackos here, the people that are for the Second Amendment there, why are they so worried about everybody else? Why do they have an armed bodyguard?
Right.
Why do they have a fence around their house or a gated community? So the whole thing here is it's always a hypocrisy. If you bring up something to a liberal, they're going to say, oh, you're one of them. But no, all you're doing is you're protecting your God-given amendments. You're protecting your family and yourself. Because unfortunately, I don't think that Cain killed Abel with a gun. Last time he was probably bludgeoned to death. So are we going to start saying, well, we can't have knives, can't have sticks, stones, can't have baseball bats? Bad things happen to good people. But the thing is, you need to be prepared for that thing called life. So, you'll only hear the uproar when something happens to a liberal or a congressman or a senator or some high-ranking official. Then it becomes nationwide news.
You're right.
The average Joe and Jane America, we need to get out there and say, you know what? We do need to protect ourselves. We do need to protect our Constitution. God bless our first responders and our police and firemen that go out there into harm's way to protect us. God loves everybody, the crazy and the stupid included. So, when somebody gets on their little high horse, I just look at them and say, God bless you. And if you wanted to earn that'll PO them to no avail right there. God bless you.
And, Kevin, the funny thing about these celebrities, most of them would probably be collecting welfare if they couldn't sing or dance or whatever they do.
Well, most of them can't sing or dance, and they still get a check, so that's an oxymoron.
Well, yeah, you're right. Not in my opinion, anyway.
Roger that. So,
yeah, thank you so much.
God bless you, and keep doing what you're doing, okay?
Thank you so much. Long live the Republic.
Roger that.
Thank you, Kevin.
And that's one thing to remember. This is a republic, a federal republic. It is not a democracy. And every time I hear somebody say that, I just scream. A democracy is what you see when you look outside of one of the conventions and you see a mob of people shouting down the speaker. That's a democracy. Majority rules, and we don't care about any rights that you have because we're the majority. And the country was absolutely set up to avoid the tyranny of the majority. But our illustrious president frequently says this country is a democracy, and I say, thank God it's not.
So, Judge, we have a text, and this is for you. The text is I work for a company that forbids firearms on the property. Do I have the right to keep it in my car are locked up. Love the show, they said.
You can't interaction. Let's assume he's in Mississippi or Alabama, and he's not calling from Florida because I don't know what the situation is in Florida. If in Alabama and Mississippi, he has the right to keep that, if he has a concealed carry and he has it locked in his car, out of sight, he has the right to keep that in his automobile. But, like I say, I'm not sure he is there, is in one of the states. Mississippi goes a step further through some court rulings from the Mississippi Supreme Court and the Fifth Circuit. They say that if you are discharged because of following the law and having it in your car, out of sight, locked up, if you're discharged, you have a cause of action against that employer for a wrongful termination. But like I say, I assume he's one of those, but he could be in another state, he could be a visitor.
Yeah, I think the caveat to that is if you are in a secure area with gates that go up and down and you have to badge in and out and there's a security personnel. I know
that's in Mississippi. I'm not sure it is here, but I'm going to check it out during our break.
I'm sure it is with the airport or something like that. If you work there, I don't think you're allowed to bring your firearm on the premises. But again, it's a scan-in gate or something like that, a secure where you go into a secure area.
But it's one of the situations, again, where the Second Amendment is taken as a second-class right as opposed to other rights. It's just definitely not standing on the same plane as a right, freedom of worship or freedom of speech. It's just the, if I might say, the red-headed stepchild. Charlie, what do we got?
About 2.5 minutes.
Well, the other day somebody said, where did you get the handle Rusty from? I said, well, pointing to my head, I said, Rusty, red hair, Oh, did you used to have red hair? Used to have red hair? And I said, used to? And she said, you need to look in the mirror. It looks gray to me. And I said, I think you're colorblind. So, very obnoxious woman, probably a Hillary Democrat. But one thing that I was talking to Brian McClanahan about, a disappearance of nicknames throughout the country, but especially the South. And I think a lot of it's due to the government tracking of people. Charlie remembers this week. Everybody had a nickname, either familiar, you had Butch, and that doesn't mean a fighter. It means Butch was classically given to the son of someone, a junior, somebody named the same thing. Or you had Trey, that was the third, Bubba for brother. You had all these nicknames. Whitey for a blonde-headed kid. You don't see those anymore.
I didn't think about that,
it's
but
really
you're
a
absolutely
shame.
right. Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm going to be assigned to write something on that.
All right, if you have the subject you want to talk about tonight or you want to call in and make a comment and tell us you like the show or tell us you don't like the show and why you don't like it, please feel free to call in. Our number is 251-343-0106. We'll be right back after the break.
Running down our country, man, they're walking on the fighting side of me. They're walking on the fighting side of me. Running down a way of life our fighting men have fought and died to keep. If you don't love it, leave it. Let this song that I'm singing be a warning. When you're running down.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
We'll look for a few showers and thunderstorms tonight. Low temperatures will be in the upper 70s at daybreak. For Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms with highs in the upper 80s. And the outlook for Thursday, showers and thunderstorms again with afternoon readings in the mid-80s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 106.5.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority.
For FM Talk 1065, I'm Roseanne Haven, News 5. We're hearing more from Mobile Mayor Sandy Stimpson after his call for an independent audit of the Mobile Housing Board. A HUD report finds the board failed to follow federal regulations, leading to financial mismanagement. Mayor Stimpson says he was suspicious of wrongdoing when he ran for office, but says since the federal government funds the board, it's hard to cut through and make changes.
Not only are we dealing internally with the Housing Authority, but pretty much everything you do has to be done with HUD approval. And so just dealing with the bureaucracy, will take a while to make things happen.
Reed Cummings, a new board member appointed by the mayor, will be sworn in tomorrow. It's back to school tomorrow for nearly 60,000 students in Mobile County. Keep in mind, those school zones will be in effect. And when kids in Foley go back to school week after next, they'll have a new pedestrian bridge to take them safely across Highway 59. Installation work on the bridge continuing today. For FM Talk 1065, I'm Roseanne Haven, News 5.
When buying a vehicle, don't waste your valuable time. David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota is committed to getting you the best deal on a new, used, or leased car. And David will do that without wasting your time. Don't play the back and forth game. See David Parnell today. Palmer's Toyota, 470 Schillinger Road South. That's David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, 639-0800, extension 168. Don't forget to see David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, Schillinger Road, just south of Airport. He won't waste your time. Looking for land, commercial space, or a home to purchase? Or do you have real estate that you would like to sell? Then you need to talk with Matt Moon, Siddick, at RE/MAX Partners, 7221 Grelot Road, Suite B. Matt Moon is dedicated to providing his clients trustworthy real estate expertise and professional, dependable service. Whether buying or selling your primary residence or a second home, or relocating to a new neighborhood, Matt Moon can help make your home ownership dreams come true. Email Mamoon at remax.net. That's MAMUN at remax.net.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
All right, welcome back to Armed Alabama. Got some statistics here on women firearm sales. And Judge, you and I, it's no secret to us that that is where the market growth is and has been for quite a number of years. But just last month, there was 2.2 million background checks made for the FBI on purchase of firearms last month, and 30% of that was women. The uptick in women purchases. So lots of guns.
Yeah, but as we say, women are generally easier to teach because they don't have bad habits.
They don't have bad habits, or they don't go in with the mentality.
Attitude.
Well, I've been shooting since I was 7 years old, or
right.
I know my way around a firearm, which is fine. It's all fine and dandy, but it never hurts to take a class or multiple
male
classes.
Bravado that we all had. I'm afraid I had.
Well, this is the South too, so
yep.
Most men have that, and then that's a true statement that most men grow up.
I mean, every class we get in a couple of fights with men that disagree with what we're saying.
Well,
that's fine.
The thing about it is this is the South, and children grow up with their mothers and fathers going to the range or hunting or shooting or what have you. So, and that breeds confidence with the firearm. But sometimes, like you said, it pick up bad habits. But one of the bad things with women purchasing firearms is they go to just any old firearm store or a big box store and buy a firearm, and the guy behind the counter gives them an ultralight pistol.
And he was working at Best Buy 2 weeks before.
Yeah, and
very often.
And that is the worst thing, in my opinion, is to buy an ultralight pistol, especially for an older woman. the recoil on those pistols are significant because there's not a lot of mass there.
A rocket in your pocket.
And as soon as the lady goes to the range and shoots the gun, I mean, it about jumps out of the hand. We've seen it time and time again. My recommendation is get a good solid steel revolver or pistol or stainless steel revolver, something that's got a lot of mass to it, that's not going to be trying to jump out of their hands when they squeeze the trigger. And of course, the thing about it is they're not going to want to shoot anymore if they have a rocket in their hand, that's going to launch at any second. I
purchased one from a lady that I knew that had, one of the small ultralight Ruegers. I can't think of the little semi-automatic. It's a good gun, I would say, for a backup, but she just hated it. And because, the smaller you get, the less their mass to absorb the recoil. And so, and she was a friend. I didn't tell her to buy it, but, I just kind of felt sorry for her. So we got her into something, a little bigger.
Yeah, and McCoy Outdoors is a great place to go. They have a large selection and have a very educated staff.
That's what I was going to say. They hadn't just been, they hadn't been there a week or two. They've been there years. And they're not going to just put you into something to make that sale right then. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with the small little ultralight pistols, but if you're experienced, and usually if there's a backup, can you imagine how long it would take you to get, let's say, the Kel-Tec 3 AT out of your pocket, even if it was in a pocket holster? I'd say 7 or 8 seconds at the best. And by then, you're already hit over the head with whatever there is. Backup, I knew a state trooper that had one as a backup in a ankle holster. But you got to get to somebody that's knowledgeable, like any of the guys at McCoy's, and don't put on, just say, hey, I don't know what to buy. There's no shame in that. I don't know what to buy. Show me what you got. Here's what I'm looking for. If you're looking for something just in your home, that's one thing. If you're looking for something to conceal carry, that's another thing. But tell them, then make fun of you. There were some gun stores, all of you remember this, 40 years ago, where women would feel a little uncomfortable there. The men were would make fun of them maybe, joke around with them. If there was a shooting range, they'd put a .45 auto in their hands and laugh when it about knocked them down. Generally, McCoy's is not that way, and most of the places are not that way. But get on by McCoy's because they're not any more expensive than the big box stores, but they've got that knowledge. And that's what you really want. And if any of you familiar, Spring Hill Avenue, just as it goes under I-65, it's called the Spring Hill Shopping Center, and it's where the old oak trees are. Used to be can be there, but there used to be a Woolco there. I was trying to think of the other name. And they're open Monday through Saturday. And good bunch of people there, but they got everything there. And you can find something there that you need that will save your life, including the Mace pepper spray gun.
And I was just talking about that this week. Somebody will say, I'm not really comfortable carrying a firearm. It was a young lady. And so what do you recommend? I was going to get that little pepper spray or whatever, the little bottle. Yeah. You're more likely to spray yourself with something like that. But
I had that at one time, and the pepper spray tends to get on the outside, and just pulling it out of your pocket, you'll get it on your fingers, and then in half an hour you wipe your face, and your face is burning. So you avoid all of that.
Yeah, and that little pepper spray gun is very easy to use.
You can point it just like a gun.
Yes. And another person said, as we were discussing it, like, well, yeah, we had one of those little sprayers, and as I moved the car seat forward, we didn't realize that it had rolled underneath the car seat. And as they moved it forward, it actually crushed the spray bottle and exploded inside the car.
Oh, boy. The guards the corrections officers had to shoot a prisoner in my courtroom with pepper spray once. We had to leave the whole courtroom, and those are big, too. All right, who have we got?
We got a caller, Jane. Thank you for calling Armed Alabama.
Hey, this is Jane. I don't know if y'all can hear me very well. I'm in my car.
You're great. You're coming through great.
Okay. All right, now, when I got in my car, I heard y'all talking about women or ladies carrying their pistols or whatever, and I had a Ruger, and I could not slide that thing back. I mean, I struggled with it, but it was a nice small weapon that I could carry in my purse. And And so I got a Smith & Wesson revolver. It's an airweight. And it's still heavy to carry, but, you know, I don't like... The only thing that scares me is I carry it with me, and I have 5 bullets in that thing, and, you know, but I've got it in a pocket where I can carry it separately. But is that what y'all talking about, the kick? Because they all kicked me.
Well, they all kick. You know, one thing, when you said air weight, I thought, you know, it being, 4 to 6 ounces lighter than the normal one, that's what's causing your kick or recoil, because there's less mass to absorb that. But it also is a revolver. They're set up where there's not the slide and the springs in there. We've got kind of a technique that we can show you where you don't slingshot the slide back, that you actually hold the slide with your non-dominant hand. If you're are you right-handed?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Where you hold the slide with your left hand, and then you hold the grip with your right hand, and you shove forward with your right hand. You use the strength to cock it. But the problem is you've got...
I don't have any strength in my hands.
The problem is you've got a small gun, and if you have if it's a neurological problem or something like that, you just need to stay away from it, or you need to strengthen.
I'm old.
Or you need. Well, we all are.
I'm your old neighbor across the street.
Oh yeah. Okay. You just need to get one of those balls and squeeze it for about a month. You're not that old, but you call me sometime and we'll work on it. How about that?
Okay.
I'm serious. You look up, my wife's name, look up her initial, and you can get my home phone. I still have a landline. Okay. Or just knock on the door, okay? We'll spend an hour together, and I'll get you working it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, Jane. And that's a good point with what she was discussing, and that was one of the points I was going to hit earlier as far as buying a woman a pistol. Is you want to buy, a lot of people want to go buy the compact, a little small one, and those springs are so heavy on those slide that sometimes you really have to get a mid-size pistol if that's what you're wanting, an auto, and that way, like you were saying, they can do the push-pull method where they're pushing with their strong hand and pulling back with their support
hand. It makes
hand.
sense, you know.
And you can get that leverage that you need to be able to load around into the chamber or cock it, however you want to say. But those are the things that you need to be looking for. Or someone may get a little small compact polymer. Again, it's light, and when they squeeze the trigger, a woman squeezes the trigger, again, it's bang, and it tries to jump out of her hand. So we just always find it better for a woman to have.
The woman ought to pick it out.
A larger firearm. And two, another thing that I always say is if you got a nice weighty firearm, if it's a revolver, you use your 6 shots or 5 shots. If it's a snub nose, jam that firearm through their face,
especially their eyeball.
Because if you're out of rounds, it's now a blunt instrument. So jam it through their face.
Right.
Whatever you can do to defend yourself or stop someone from attacking you.
Adam, let me throw this out before we break. I'm going to give away a Brownells AR-15 30-round magazine, and that is mil-spec, and it has the CS Spring Magpul follower. They are great magazines, but you have to answer this question. And who was the youngest vice president ever elected? And it's not a trick. He was also the youngest vice president ever sworn in. And I want to talk to you because but I want you to be interested in talking about guns too, not just winning the magazine. All right, let's take. Are we too short on time to take our? Yeah, we are. John, is it John next or Cornell?
Yeah, we've got a lot of people on the line. If just hang on, and we'll get to you.
We got 45 seconds left. I know we got 3 people holding. We wouldn't do you any justice by taking your call right now. Hold on till after the break. It won't be long, and we'll take all those calls. Adam, one of the things I posted on the Facebook page is a case I handled years ago where a guy went into the CVS downtown and he was asked, I need money to get back to Mississippi. And he mistakenly opened his wallet and they saw several $100s. He gave him $50. When he came out, he had a broken leg. A wolf pack attacked him, at least 6 people. Stripped his cast off, his clothes, looking for more money, rammed his head into the side of the building, leaving him half dead, and took off. Not ever reported in the press. The people who were caught all had multiple felony convictions. Be careful.
All right. This is Armed Alabama. We'll be back after the break.
Don't get caught in the dark when the lights go out. Grayson Air Conditioning installs Honeywell home standby generators to keep you out of the dark. Grayson Air Conditioning repairs most other generator brands and offers service agreements to keep your generator ready when power is lost. With this agreement, you won't have to leave home when a storm is coming. Like Grayson AC on Facebook, on the web at GraysonAirConditioning.com, or stop by their offices, 7200 Cottage Hill Road, next to Regions Bank, or call 633-5665 for service.
Longleaf pine is the South's original pine tree, towering over all others. Vast clear-cutting logging operations in the first half of the last century destroyed these beautiful longleaf forests, some well over 100 years old. Their wood sent to New England, New York, and Europe. Many Southerners have no memory of the magnificent longleaf forests that covered the South. The America's Longleaf Restoration Initiative is a concerted effort to restore and conserve longleaf pine forests. The best part is, it's working. For more info, visit americaslongleaf.org.
You've probably heard a lot about car recalls in the news lately. Recalls resulting from faulty airbags and other defects. It's important to pay attention to recalls like these because maintaining your car properly is essential for keeping you and your family safe on the road. That's why the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is sponsoring a free event on August 11th from 9 to 10:30 a.m. here at Walmart Supercenter, 101 East I-65 Service Road South in Mobile. Bring your insurance card or vehicle registration to check your car for recalls and learn about other safety information on tires, child car seats, and heat stroke. All steps to protect you and your family. For details on the event, visit nhtsa.gov/TOUR. That's nhtsa.gov/tour. At NHTSA, we believe in safer drivers, safer cars, safer roads.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
I mean to kill you in 1 minute, Ned, or see you hanged in Fort Smith at Judge Parker's convenience. Which will it be?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
All right, welcome back to Armed Alabama. Glad you can join us after this break. And if you're just now tuning in to our radio show, we have a really good program tonight. It's a full program. And we've just been joined by a friend of ours, conservative book writer, Steve Stone. Glad you could join us.
Well, thank you, Adam. I appreciate you inviting me tonight.
Steve, go ahead and give us real quick, tell us the names of the titles of the books that you have written. I know you're going to talk about each one.
X-rated, are they?
No.
Okay.
They're not only not X-rated. They don't have any of those 7 words that you warned me about.
I was going to do like Buckley did when he had Gore Vidal on. You just go back to writing your pornographic novels.
Oh, I still remember the Buckley and the Gore Vidal confrontation.
Yeah, I've actually got it on this very computer.
That was really good.
That was a good one.
No, you asked for the names of them. I've got 4 books out right now. The first was named "The Battle for America's Soul." The second,
well, we lost that one. Okay, now what's the next one?
Yeah, we have kind of lost that one. The second one is Trench Warfare.
Okay.
The third one is called Our Year of Fear 2015. And the fourth one, which is just being printed for the first time this week, is called Dear Friends, Letters from L.A., and that's Lower Alabama. And it's sort of it's a humorous one. My first 3 are political books. My fourth one is a non-political book.
Good.
Something's got to make me a buck, you know.
Well, yeah, and something needs to cheer us up.
Well, that's true.
2015 was the year of fear.
That's true.
Not sure if this one isn't too.
Well, that remains to be seen. It's certainly a year of uncertainty, if not fear. I don't know where you want to go with this, Adam.
Right now we've got a caller we want to get to. We've got several of them that dropped off. So let's go to our caller. Welcome to Armed Alabama. Glad you called in.
Hello, sir.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Cornell out of Saraland.
Great.
First-time caller. Love your program.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, sir. My question is that I feel that our Second Amendment is under attack. I was wondering if especially with the elections coming here to November, if there was a law that actually or amendment to the Second Amendment or addenda, if you would, that would pass to make it to the Supreme Court, and it would pass, how difficult would that be to overturn?
Well, I guess I'll quote Judge Richard Posner on the Seventh Circuit. I'm not sure. Don't even bother reading the Constitution. It's meaningless. The Supreme Court is what the Constitution is what the Supreme Court says it is, and unfortunately, that's what's happened. First, I don't think there's any chance of strengthening the Second Amendment. There's a clause in the Constitution, for instance, it's called the Contracts Clause, that says no state shall make any law that shall abridge or encumber the rights of citizens to make contracts. Something like I inartfully said that. I mean, that makes it very clear that the legislatures of the states can't make a law that violate contractual rights. During the Depression, so many homeowners were having their houses foreclosed on that many state legislatures just passed laws saying we're passing a moratorium on foreclosures for 6 months, a year. Supreme Court held that to be valid. It's an absolute violation of the Contracts Clause, and so it just eviscerated, redacted the Contracts Clause out of the Constitution. So they do what they want, and I'm kind of pessimistic about can anything be written. What needs to happen, and I'm giving a presentation on it this weekend, Congress expanded the power of all of the federal courts through legislation, as they're allowed to do. For instance, all the U.S. district courts didn't even have the power to hear, or the jurisdiction to hear, cases or controversies arising under the laws or the Constitution of the United States until 1875. Congress gave them that power, not the Constitution, and Congress can take that from them. If Congress had the guts to do what they need to do, they could put all the federal courts back in their place, and our rights would be secure again. We wouldn't have to go the route of a constitutional amendment.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure, and thank you for listening.
Great, what y'all do, and if you don't mind, maybe I missed it. I was late catching the show. Where you're giving your presentation would be great. And
well,
thank
I
y'all
tell you
again.
what, unfortunately, it's in Atlanta, but the paper will be posted online after that. So I'll tell you where that is after I finish completing it.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, sure.
All right, next caller, Roger. Roger, glad you called in to Armed Alabama. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm a 62-year-old man here in Chickasaw, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
I shoot a 45. Well, I have several pistols. I like my 45. I shoot a 230 grain hybrid shot. If I hit somebody with that thing, he's dead. And like I was telling the other fellow, I'm 62, had permits over 30 years. And I've never even had to show nobody a weapon. It's that bullet. If I hit him with it, I want to say, if you hit the chest, he's dead. Is that going to be legal?
Well, it depends. I mean, if a guy's sitting on a park bench reading a newspaper and you go up and shoot him in the chest, no, it's not. But if he's an imminent threat to you or a family member or a third party, and you're in a legal place where you have the right to be, and as I said, he's an imminent threat to your life, and you shoot him in the chest and he happens to die, yeah, that's legal. But, it depends on the facts and the circumstances of it.
But you never want to say, I shot to kill somebody, or I want to buy a bullet or use a bullet to kill somebody. You always want to say, I shot to stop that person from doing their dastardly deed, the bad guy, that is.
But if they happen to die, it's just not of concern to you. You have the right to use lethal force or deadly force in that position. But you probably ought to, look over the code. You can find it online real easy. Code of Alabama, and you can look it up under 13A, and it's in the first section or two. 13A- I think it's 3. I'll tell it to everybody in just a minute. And just read through that and see the circumstances you can use deadly force.
All right, thank you for your call,
Thank you,
Robert.
yeah.
Roger. Next caller, Travis. Thank you for calling Armed Alabama.
Hey, I just wanted to remind everybody, the females who are calling in that are talking about guns kicking, advise them to drop down to a smaller caliber of gun. Most of your firefights are within just a few feet of each other, and
you
don't need that high power caliber of gun to get the threat off of you. A 22 will get somebody off of you quick.
Absolutely. A 22 revolver is one of the best things to carry.
The best gun's the one you're going to carry.
Yep. The 22 is small enough that females don't really fear it and don't mind using it if they need to. They're good guns, and I work in a professional capacity where I get asked about guns quite often, and I always tell a female to start out small and work your way up. Start out small so you don't build that fear immediately.
That's right.
There's nothing worse than a trainer putting a 45 in somebody's hands and watching them, get scared. You're right. Work them up from a 22, and if that's all they can handle, fine. If they'll carry it, yeah.
Thank you, Travis.
Good point.
Thank you.
Next caller, Greg. Greg, welcome to Armed Alabama. Thank you for calling.
Good evening, gentlemen. Enjoy your show.
Thank you. Just got a few seconds. What you got, buddy?
Yes, sir. I was calling in response to the question about the youngest vice president sworn in.
Yeah, give him to me.
Would that be JFK?
It would not be. He was never vice president, first of all. So, But yeah, it's not him. He was the youngest elected president. I'll put it that way. Yeah, at 43. This guy was a much younger. But nice try.
So you're looking for the youngest vice president?
Yeah, exactly. But nice try.
All right, we're going to go to break, but we'll be right back after this break. This is Armed Alabama.
And I wonder just how long the rest of us can count on being free. They love our milk and honey, but they preach about some other way of living. And when they're running down our country, man, they're walking on the fighting side of me.
If your spine is in a bind, it's time to be aligned. For 20 years, Dr. Justin Foster has been diagnosing and taking care of spinal problems. Misaligned vertebrae can hurt due to a strain or sprain from an accident, or be injured by repeated use and can lead to a pinched nerve if not fixed. Pinched nerves can cause a series of discomforts, including decreased flexibility, headaches, muscle, joint, disc, and nerve pain. Foster Chiropractic of Tillman's Corner, easy to find across from Lowe's off Rangeline.
This is FM Talk 106.5. Like what you're hearing? Well, there are thousands of other Gulf Coast listeners who like it too. Why not put us to work to make those local residents your customers? FM Talk 106.5 will reach them efficiently and effectively. This is Celeste Holland. Together, we can design an advertising campaign that will increase your business even in this rough economy. Give me a call at 251-344-1065, extension 16, and let's discuss how FM Talk 106.5 will help boost your business.
Turning up your voice. FM Talk 106.5, WAVH FM, Daphne Gulf Shores, Mobile.
CBS News, I'm Bill Whitney. Supporters of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are debating what Trump meant today when he told a crowd there's nothing you can do if Clinton appoints anti-gun judges, then said, although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. Dan Gross of the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence took that as a threat.
What Donald Trump said today is repulsive. I mean, he's literally using the Second Amendment as cover to encourage people to kill someone that they disagree with.
Later, Trump offered a clarification when he was interviewed by Bo Minnick of CBS television affiliate WNCN.
I've seen statements from Democrats so far who've equated it to condoning violence.
not what that was.
Oh, no. This is political power.
He said the Second Amendment lobby is powerful because it's united. In a new poll, Clinton leads Trump in the swing states of Ohio and Pennsylvania. They're essentially tied in Florida. Quinnipiac's Peter Brown says Trump does not enjoy the advantage with male voters that Clinton has with females.
Clinton holds leads of 13 to 23 percentage points among women, while Mr. Trump's lead among men ranges from 5 points to 12 points. In other words, roughly half of what she's doing among women.
In Miami today, Clinton called on Republican leaders in Congress to call Congress back into session to approve money for the fight against Zika.
If we pass this critical funding, we can develop rapid diagnostic testing and treatment and even begin the hard work of developing a vaccine. And we shouldn't rest until we get that done.
Florida health officials say they now have 21 cases of locally transmitted Zika. In Houston, a newborn baby whose mother had traveled to Central America while pregnant has died of microcephaly. At the Olympics, defending gold medalist Serena Williams is out in the third round, losing to Elena Svitolina of Ukraine 6-4, 6-3. The U.S. women's gymnastic team has won gold. Correspondent Steve Futterman reports.
The U.S. team took control from the very start and did not let up. The Americans took the lead after the first rotation. That was the vault. Then when they went to the uneven bars, they increased the lead. They increased it again after the balance beam. And then at the end, floor exercise. The Americans dominate all four apparatuses and win by a remarkable total of more than 8 points over their closest competitors from Russia. Steve Futterman, CBS News at the Summer Olympics in Rio.
Delta Airlines CEO Ed Bastian has offered an apology for 2 days of travel disruptions.
This isn't who we are. This isn't the quality of service and the reliability that you've come to expect from Delta Airlines.
Delta says backup systems failed early yesterday after a power outage knocked out critical network equipment. More than 1,500 flights have been canceled, 1,900 delayed. Some problems are expected to linger into tomorrow. The Dow 3 points higher at 18,533. With 30 million radio listeners weekly, this is CBS News.
Mortgage rates are pushing all-time lows. This is Dan Smith with Private Plus Mortgage, and our clients are locking in 30-year rates in the 3s and 15s in the 2s. So call Private Plus today for your all-time low. You deserve it. 888-220-6200. 888-220-6200.
Private Bank of Buckhead, 3 Piedmont Center, Atlanta, Georgia, 30305. Actual terms may vary. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, and MLS number 758-195. Call toll-free for credit costs and terms.
This is Charles Osgood. Auto Owners Insurance was founded in 1916, 3 years before cars had automatic windshield wipers. You wouldn't want to drive a car today without wipers, so you should never drive without Auto Owners by your side. Let our independent local agents help you with all your auto, home, life, or business insurance needs. Find your agent at AutoOwners.com. Auto Owners Insurance, 100 years of putting people first.
In Thomasville, call the West Alabama Insurance Agency at 334-636-9626.
A federal appeals court says New Jersey cannot legalize sports betting. WCBS Radio's Alex Silverman reports.
The Third Circuit says by repealing its ban on sports betting at casinos and racetracks, New Jersey was authorizing sports betting, something it cannot do under federal law. Chris Soriano's a gaming attorney.
Interestingly, the law does not prohibit sports betting in the United States. It just prohibits states from authorizing and regulating sports betting.
The ruling was decisive, 10-2. New Jersey says it will appeal, but legal experts think it's a long shot because the Supreme Court has already rejected a constitutional challenge to that federal law.
Makes it less likely that they'll take it up this time.
Alex Silverman, CBS News, New York.
There's a viewing tank at SeaWorld Orlando where visitors can touch the dolphins. One woman discovered that the dolphins can also touch the people. One of them reached over the side of the tank and snatched her iPad right out of her hands. She was able to get it out of the water. I'm Bill Whitney, CBS News.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
We'll look for a few showers and thunderstorms tonight. Low temperatures will be in the upper 70s at daybreak. For Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms with highs in the upper 80s. And the outlook for Thursday, showers and thunderstorms again with afternoon readings in the mid-80s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 106.5.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority. The safety is off. There's a round in the chamber. This is Armed Alabama. Sponsored by McCoy Outdoor Company, Mobile's hometown full-line outdoor sporting products and gear store. An interactive talk show discussing self-defense, product reviews, shooting tips, safety, and more. Your calls, comments, and texts welcome at 343-0106. Now, here are your hosts, retired judge and certified NRA instructor Rusty Johnston and certified NRA law enforcement instructor Adam Strange.
They're gonna pry these guns right out of my hands when they come to take them away. I believe in the rights that my fathers gave me when he signed the Constitution that day. No misguided president or crooked politician with a greasy pocket be spared. When the hard-working man gets tired of your cry, it's gonna rain wrath, beware. Don't tread on me, I'm American free. You're not gonna take it away. I stand up to fight for my freedoms and rights. That's a price you'll have to pay.
All right, welcome back to Armed Alabama. Glad you could join us tonight. Harder to interrupt that song. The more I hear it, the better I like it. That's Buck Allen, a local singer-songwriter, and that song is Don't Tread on Me. Be sure and check out Buck Allen's Facebook page and let him know how much you like that song. It's kind of become our theme song here. So glad you can join us. This is our second hour, and the phone lines are absolutely packed. So if you call in, you don't get into us, just hang with us, and we'll get to you. And because your call is very important to us, and a lot of these calls are pertaining to the judge's question that he had at the first hour. So, Judge, you want to give us the question there? Repeat it.
Who was the youngest vice president in history of the United States ever elected? And no trick, he was also the youngest vice president sworn in. And I'm certain he was the youngest ever. And by the way, anybody looking at Wikipedia, they're wrong. So be careful on that one. And the prize is a Brownells 30-round AR-15 magazine. It has the CS spring and the Magpul followers. A mil-spec magazine is made of good old-fashioned steel, or actually aluminum, 6061 heat-treated aluminum body. Great magazines. Not that the polymers aren't, but this one will last a long time, and it says it has the Magpul follower, too.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to our first caller of the second hour, Robert. Hi, Robert. Do you have the answer for us?
I think I might have it. Was it John C. Breckinridge?
John C. Breckinridge is the answer. You got it. And, what do you know about John C. Breckinridge? Anything else?
Well, a little bit about him. He was he served with Jackson, wasn't it?
Well,
but
he
also had helped secure one of the big Louisiana purchases, wasn't it?
Well, may have. He was actually ran for president in 1860 against Abraham Lincoln. And anybody who thinks their relatives in a southern state voted for Lincoln are mistaken, because Lincoln was not on the ballot in any southern state. The entire South voted. All their electoral votes went for Breckinridge, except I think in Tennessee, perhaps, they may have gone for Bell. Breckinridge was from Kentucky. He was actually elected to the the U.S. Senate from Kentucky while serving as vice president. Briefly served when Lincoln took office, and everything kind of went downhill. He went back to Kentucky and then went south, became a general in the Confederate Army. The very end, he was Secretary of War and was with my collateral ancestor, General Joe Johnston, at Bennett Place, negotiating the military armistice or military convention, not a surrender, a convention. But that got rejected after Lincoln was killed by the evil Secretary Stanton. But Sherman pulled him aside and said, if I was you, I would probably get out of the country. There's word out that there's an arrest warrant out for you, which he did. His escape was pretty fascinating. So you're right. And I'm going to put Phil, unless you live close to the station, it's probably easier for us to mail this to you. And by the way, mention one thing. The Field of Lost Shoes is a movie on Netflix, fairly new, that a famous actor plays him, Battle of Newmarket. Would you rather us mail this to you, get a couple of days, or if you're close by, you can pick it up?
I live in Mobile.
Okay. Well, Phil, would you pick up and get his name, and you can just stop, where the studios are here?
I had a question for you, though.
Okay, great.
About a Mark IV World War II edition 45.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the war, and it got some water damage to it and a little bit of fluting. Looks like kind of swirl on it. But you can tell where it was in a ditch, where it laid in a ditch for a while. But it doesn't affect the weapon one bit whatsoever. I was wondering if I had it re-blued, would it affect the value of the weapon?
Here's the answer. For collectors, yes, it affects the value of the weapon. But if you use it and have fun with it and want it looking good, you get it done and do with it what you want. But if you want to put it up on the shelf and have it gain value, you leave it like it is. There are a lot of those out there. There are a lot of them out there, and I just don't think it's going to matter one way or another. If it was mine and I liked it, I'd have it completely redone, have somebody check it out, replace the worn parts, re-blued, and have it looking good.
I would do the same thing. If it was mine, I would make it look as pristine as possible. Thank you for your call, Robert. Be sure to hang on.
Yeah,
hang on the line so
Phil
line. Can get your information, and we'll get you that AR magazine to you. And by the way, AR is not for automatic rifle. Mm-hmm. It stands for Armalite.
There we go.
Armalite rifle. We heard somebody the other day talk about that, and it was just like, ugh, make your skin
Hope he's not listening.
Yeah. So anyway, we have in the studio with us Steve Stone. He's a conservative author, and Steve is also a member of the local Republican Party Executive Committee for Mobile. And we are glad to have Steve in the studio with us. And Steve has a book. Actually, he's written several books, but his newest one is called Our Year of Fear, and you can buy it on Amazon and other places. Steve, you want to tell us a little bit about it and where everyone can get it?
Well, the exact title is Our Year of Fear 2015. It's available through Tate Publishing Company of Mustang, Oklahoma. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and you can also get it on Apple Books, and it also comes as an e-book if you don't like to actually read paper. I personally like paper, but some people don't. The book is actually kind of a compendium of articles that were written during 2015. I'm also a member, I don't want to advertise here, but I'm a member of the Common Sense Campaign Tea Party. And I write articles about once a week, and I post them on their website. And once a year, I just dump everything off and turn it into book form. I sort of correct all my punctuation, spelling thing. And what the articles mostly are reactions to news events or to topics of conversation. Like I talk about different aspects of freedom. I talk about different aspects of the Constitution and go into some history. I'll say it's a little heavy on philosophy in some aspects. The thing about the gun control, I wrote a couple of articles specific to gun control. One on 7 October 2015 that had to do with a mass shooting, and I referenced the shooting in Charleston and in Isla Vista, California, one at NAVSEA headquarters that happened that year. Different ones, but I try to make the point that it's not about the guns, it's about the people. It's about the ideology of the people or the lunacy of the people, and that the gun is just the mechanism of the violence. It's really tangential, and that gun violence is no different than any other violence, and that the style of gun makes no difference either. They all go bang bang. They all are designed to aim a projectile down in down range and shoot somebody. So the whole notion of an assault weapon is kind of to me, it's an assault on my brain. That someone would call a gun an assault weapon. I was going to make the point that the judge did about AR. AR stands for Armalite. And the M for M16, as far as I know, stood for Mattel.
And most monster, wasn't it?
Most people who carried the Mattel in Vietnam, I know, didn't like it too much because it tended to jam. But it was made by a toy company. But my books are, I will say they're conservative. I'm a libertarian also. I'm a conservative libertarian. I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in things like natural rights and natural law and things that people tend not to believe in anymore. So I in my articles, you'll see a flavor through the articles that references some ancient theory of law, that I think the judge is well versed in much more than I am.
I don't know about that, but you're right.
I'm always amazed at the things that I learn in doing my research from books. I didn't really understand that the very first book of law of the United States had 4 things in the very beginning of it, and that was the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, the Northwest Ordinance of 1787, and the Constitution was number 4. And they laid them out in the sequence that they are the foundation of American law. But if you read the Declaration of Independence, one thing jumps out, and it has to do with the reference to God, basically.
Nature's law
so
and nature's
law
God.
and nature's God, and that really references back to the Bible. So if you want to know the primary reference for the law of the United States, it's the Holy Bible, and I think that's one message that's lost. I know that's not gun control. That's not a gun necessarily a gun issue, but it's all connected.
All right, Steve, we're going to pick up after the break. We appreciate you coming in. And Steve's book, his latest book, is Our Year of Fear, and you can find that on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and so forth. But we're going to go ahead and step into a break and more with Steve Stone. And once we come back, this is Armed Alabama.
When your air conditioner is no longer keeping you cool, call Grayson Air Conditioning. Their 6 factory-trained service technicians on duty 24/7 will get you comfortable again. Grayson Air Conditioning is a factory-authorized Carrier dealer that services all brands, including Mitsubishi ductless mini split systems. Serving Southwest Alabama since 1977, David Grayson and Grayson Air Conditioning is a certified licensed contractor and is recognized by Alabama Power Company as a superior solutions dealer. That's Grayson Air Conditioning for all your air conditioning needs. Call 633-5665 for service.
Longleaf pine is the South's original pine tree, towering over all others. Vast clear-cutting logging operations in the first half of the last century destroyed these beautiful longleaf forests, some well over 100 years old. Their wood sent to New England, New York, and Europe. Many Southerners have no memory of the magnificent longleaf forests that covered the South. The America's Longleaf Restoration Initiative is a concerted effort to restore and conserve longleaf pine forests. The best part is, it's working. For more info, visit americaslongleaf.org.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
I like you, Philip. But be assured, bite my hand, and I will put you down. Your division is in charge of native crime. Or would you rather I was in charge of native crime? I don't think you'd like my methods.
All right, welcome back to Armed Alabama. And we have with us in our studio tonight conservative author Steve Stone. Steve is local here in Mobile, and we're glad that he could join us tonight. His latest book, as he's here discussing, is Our Year of Fear. And, of course, you can buy that on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other websites. Steve, you were telling us before we went to the break about your research that you were doing for this book and how it kind of changed your perception.
Well, yes, I started off doing research for my first book, and that just sort of led me down a path. And one thing I do is when I look at an issue that's going on in the public sphere, what I try to do is I try to look behind the scenes. What's the motivating factors behind it? What underlies it, and what issues are concerning us with respect to the Constitution, effects on freedom, things of that nature. It's kind of like the Black Lives Movement. When I started researching the Black Lives Movement and realized what it was, I knew that it was a group that was established to create provocations. It was purposefully set up to create dissent within America. If that's my personal opinion. I don't know whether you hold that or not, but when I looked and I realized that it was formed by two women who worked for the Tides Foundation, that's kind of all I needed to really know.
And you go to their site, it's kind of a neo-Marxist group.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, when you look at the new Black Panthers, if you ever listened to the radio program that they used to broadcast out of Tampa, it was the thing. They did things on that radio program that would get you guys booted off the air. It was just amazing. They were advocating for violence against police, killing white folks, all kinds of things. It was just it was really the epitome of radical. But what I try to do in my writing, again in this book, I try to dig deeper than just the superficial, because all you get from the news media is the superficial. You don't really get the whys. You don't get all the people involved. You don't get all the players, and you don't get the nuance of where things are going forward if they're carried to the ultimate end. And that's really what I'm trying to do, is to project forward, give people a picture of where we're heading as a society and as America.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for your book. Be sure and check out his book, Our Year of Fear. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Steve Stone is a conservative author. He's right here in Mobile, and we're glad to have him here on this program. And feel free to stick around and hang with us the rest of the show. We've still got a lot more to talk about. I want to remind everybody that that we're going to have a gun class. If you're familiar with myself and with the judge, we have gun classes every now and again. Our next class, some people wanted to know, and it's going to be September the 17th is our next class. So just want to get that out there if you're interested in a firearms defense class. So last show, we kind of talked about defense of your car, and we gave lots of different tips on defense of your car. And I think previous shows we talked about defense of your home. So we gave a little short summary of how to protect yourself while in the vehicle, how to draw your firearm while in the vehicle and safely defend yourself or you defend your family. But kind of this week, we're just going to talk about staying alert. And we just want to remind everybody just to be aware. Incident transpired this past Saturday in Walmart parking lot on Schillinger's Road, where a friend of mine I greatly respect, a former Marine, he's actually a certified Krav Maga instructor, which is a type of hand-to-hand defense, was very effective, was actually attacked while he was putting groceries in his vehicle and was completely blindsided by three individuals with brass knuckles, and was struck over the head and fractured his eye socket, and had a lot of stitches and had a pretty serious injuries as far as his head. But he was able, when he hit the ground, he was able to roll up under his vehicle as the assailants were trying to grab for his wallet and grab for his keys of his vehicle. He stated to me, is like, I knew if they were to get my keys to my truck, that they were going to run me over as I was under it. But he kept fighting them. He kept kicking them from under the vehicle as they were trying to get his keys and get his wallet. And this was 6:30 Saturday morning, pretty much broad daylight. The audacity of this attack was just tremendous, and the violence of this attack was tremendous. But it just so happened within the parking lot, just a few cars over, was a gentleman that was concealed carry holder, and he got out of his vehicle and he was able to stop the attack. As soon as he called out to the assailants, they jumped in their vehicle and sped off. So just wanted to tell you that story, that concealed carry holders, it's important that you do conceal carry your firearm. We talked about in our previous show, I think it's 21,000 new pistol permits have been issued in the Mobile area, and that's unbelievable. I think it's 3 times the amount of last year, it was more than the last 3 years put together, the number of pistol permits that have been issued. So if you have a pistol permit, then by all means conceal carry, because you can make a difference to yourself, to a family member or maybe even somebody else that may be in a bad situation. And if you do have a pistol permit, but you're really not confident in carrying that weapon, or even as the judge and I talked about last week, carrying around in the chamber, if you're not confident doing that, then you need to seek training, whether you get a training from us or you get a training from other individuals. But to seek that level of confidence, training is a good way to do that. But you don't never know. You could be the next one that might be assaulted in a grocery store parking lot or something like that. I mean, everybody buys automotive insurance. Everybody buys homeowners insurance to protect against fire or storm or what have you. Or if you have vehicle insurance, you're protecting yourself against crash or another motorist. This is no different, in my mind, to have that firearm and the ability to protect yourself.
Did you talk about the concealed carry owner not cooperating? Because we're not naming any names, but, I'm not so sure.
That's half the battle. I think if the concealed carry person, he stepped in and ran off the attackers, which was really great, and we're thankful for that. But to go and say, well, I don't want to get involved or I don't want to testify or anything else like that, that's only half of the battle.
The criminals are still out there, and they're going to do it again. And I'm not so, of course, morally, that's wrong. I'm not so sure he's not in violation of the law, because I think you've got his failure to render aid when you're asked, when you've been involved in a situation and you won't cooperate. But like I say, that doesn't matter. Morally, it's wrong because those people are out there and they will do that again.
By all means. Because the violence of the attack, I don't think this was their first rodeo. They already had somebody in the car, was able to quickly get away when confronted by the concealed carry holder. And we hear about this.
And the victim can't describe him. I mean, he was almost killed.
Well, he was blindsided. I mean, so just want to make you aware, so that way you're out and about, you're shopping. Be sure and pay attention, stay alert. That's a time when criminals strike. We hear about it time and time again as we give our classes. And, of course, the judge has been in situations where he's heard about it in court, where individuals were shopping, putting their groceries up, putting their shopping bag up in their vehicle. They lose their line of sight.
I had a pregnant woman attacked one time, and I've probably never been so furious in my life, in broad daylight.
Well, that's the perfect time for the bad guys to strike. And the bad guys, he's going to look for those opportunities. That's why they're bad. And they're usually cowards.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To strike somebody with their back is
3,
turned.
4, 5 to 1.
Yeah, with brass knuckles. Yeah, there was 3 to 1 in this incident. So be sure you pay attention. Be sure you stay alert. And maybe just put a few groceries in your car, look around a little bit, and then grab the next couple of bags. That's one thing that the judge and I always comment on in our classes that we give to make sure that you have good situational awareness. And by all means, you see it all the time, keep the phone out of your face. People walk back and forth from the car to the store or from the store to the car or to the next store, and they have their phone in their face checking Facebook.
Watching a movie.
Or whatever. Yeah, or looking for Pokemon.
Yeah. That was
Pokemon zombies.
I know it's different, but I thought that was 25 years old, but I don't want to know what this is.
We got a couple of callers on the line, so we're going to catch our callers when we come back after the break. If you have comments or questions, be sure to call in 251-343-0106, or you can text us at the same number, 251-343-0106. Each call is important, and we'll definitely try to get to you. We've had a lot of calls tonight. Some of them has dropped off, but if you just hang with us, we'll get to you in proper order. This is Armed Alabama. See you right back after the break.
When you're running down our country, man, you're walking on the backside of me.
FM Talk
For
106.5.
FM Talk 106.5, I'm Roseanne Haven.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
We'll look for a few showers and thunderstorms tonight. Low temperatures will be in the upper 70s at daybreak. For Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms with highs in the upper 80s. And the outlook for Thursday, showers and thunderstorms again with afternoon readings in the mid-80s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 106.5.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority.
For FM Talk 106.5, I'm Roseanne Haven, News 5. We're hearing more from Mobile Mayor Sandy Stimson after his call for an independent audit of the Mobile Housing Board. A HUD report finds the board failed to follow federal regulations, leading to financial mismanagement. Mayor Stimson says he was suspicious of wrongdoing when he ran for office, but says since the federal government funds the board, it's hard to cut through and make changes.
Not only are we dealing internally with the Housing Authority, but pretty much everything you do has to be done with HUD approval. And so just dealing with the bureaucracy, will take a while to make things happen.
Reed Cummings, a new board member appointed by the mayor, will be sworn in tomorrow. It's back to school tomorrow for nearly 60,000 students in Mobile County. Keep in mind, those school zones will be in effect. And when kids in Foley go back to school week after next, they'll have a new pedestrian bridge to take them safely across Highway 59. Installation work on the bridge continuing today. For FM Talk 106.5, I'm Roseanne Haven, News 5.
If your spine is in a bind, it's time to be aligned. For 20 years, Dr. Justin Foster has been diagnosing and taking care of spinal problems. Misaligned vertebrae can hurt due to a strain or sprain from an accident, or be injured by repeated use and can lead to a pinched nerve if not fixed. Pinched nerves can cause a series of discomforts, including decreased flexibility, headaches, muscle, joint, disc, and nerve pain. Foster Chiropractic of Tillman's Corner, easy to find across from Lowe's off Rangeline.
Hi, everybody. We really try not to sing too much because we are sensitive to the fact that Jolene's voice can be painful to listen to.
Hey, you're the one.
In any event, we're just so excited about all the feedback we've been getting since Jack Green became part of eNational.
Super Jack can help you get your budget back on track.
He'll save you some cash, and that's no bull.
Jack Green Insurance is now part of eNational.
Call now. Save cash with Super Jack.
The Jack Green Insurance Agency has joined forces with eNational Insurance and has become one big money-saving powerhouse.
Homeowners, automobile, workers' comp, commercial liability, and all types of business insurance. See how much money you could be saving. It's time you get a grip on those rising insurance premiums.
What are you waiting for? Are you worried you're going to have trouble thinking of ways to spend the extra money you'll save?
Jack Green saves you green. Call for a quote today. The Jack Green Insurance Agency in Mobile, 344-5393.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
I'm looking for Josie Wales. That would be me. You're wanted, Wales. I reckon I'm right popular. You a bounty hunter? Man's got to do something for a living these days. Diane ain't much of a living boy.
Love that. Welcome back to Armed Alabama. We've got a lot of callers backed up on our call lines, but we'll be sure and get with you. Judge, we had another record-setting month on firearm purchases. We talked about that earlier in the show.
More guns, less crime.
Yes.
John Locke.
Over 16 million FBI background checks have been conducted in the first 7 months of 2016.
Wow.
In a gun poll, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this earlier, but the University of Chicago did a poll. They polled millennials. And millennials have a strong preference for gun control, even supporting a proposed ban on semi-automatic weapons. 1,940 young Americans were polled, 18 to 30, and it revealed that 57% of millennials approved the banning of semi-automatic weapons.
That's the prime reason we don't have a democracy. So they won't do something like that because it's not up to them. It's in our Constitution, so it doesn't matter. Tough.
Well, I think this goes to show you with with the infiltration of government in schools and with the different broadcastings, the MTV, VH1, all the different shows,
the popular media.
Yeah, and these things are put forward. That guns are bad, and anybody that has them is bad.
It wouldn't matter if the Second Amendment was repealed because it's an inalienable natural right we're born with, which in that event is covered by the Ninth Amendment.
Well,
it doesn't matter if it's in the Second Amendment or not.
Well, apparently millennials don't know that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they don't even know what the Second Amendment. They say Trump hasn't read the Constitution. That was the most amazing thing. Apparently, that man doesn't know constitutional law because the demigod of the Democrat Party, Franklin D. Roosevelt, is the one that authorized the roundup of people of Japanese ancestry and placed in concentration camps. And
during World War II,
yeah, and his appointees on the Supreme Court approved of that. So, and he says we can't temporarily ban certain folks from coming into the country. That's not even reviewable by the Supreme Court.
All right, we get to some of our callers here. They're stacked, packed, and racked. Fred, glad you can call in to Armed Alabama. What you got?
Good evening, Judge. Good evening, Adam.
Good evening.
Man, I think we need to give some kudos, accolades, and job well done to that elderly gentleman up there in Leroy, Alabama, that survived a home invasion.
Oh, the one that tied up the guy to, was it oak tree?
Yes, it was oak tree, and he used clothesline and electrical wire.
I wonder what kind. I need to get me some of that.
Yeah. and he used like a strap that a pipe fitter would use to tie down copper lines. Just a simple alligator clip with a strap on it. That was his handcuffs. and the guy supposedly, according to the news, was yapping and showing his rear end, and they put some tape around his mouth, just to stop him from yakking. I think that guy did great. Now, I was feeling sorry for myself because I'm 63. That guy was 68, and he took care of business. He did not have a firearm, no, sir, but he did good. And he celebrated his 69th birthday in Mobile Metro Jail. I'm so, I just think about the whole thing.
I heard they give you a nice party there when you have your birthday.
Well, if
get all the 69 spankings.
If Ford and Oliver does that, that would be good. But I just thought that, and I just, stopped and thought about it, and I just
don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Yeah, thank you for your call, Fred. We got a lot to get to tonight. Fred called from Sims. The next caller we got is the Woodsman. Where are you calling from?
West of the Rockies. You're on the air, Woodsman.
Yeah, I'm calling down here in Mobile.
All right.
What you got for us?
I was just wondering, what's the smallest caliber you got to register for?
Well, you don't have to register any guns in this state. You have to, if you want to carry a gun concealed, you're not registering the gun, you're registering yourself. So you buy the concealed carry permit, and whatever firearm you want to carry, that's your business.
Okay. There's a nice CO2 pistol up there at Walmart's. Do I got to register that?
No. When you buy it, they have to check you to make sure you can legally purchase the gun. But that's not registering it. There's supposedly not a permanent record kept. But if you want to carry that concealed, you don't tell the sheriff what kind of handgun you're going to carry. You just you are checked out, not the gun.
All right, thank you for the call. Next caller is Michael from Mobile. You have a question on concealed carry?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing this evening?
All right.
Good. I enjoy the show. Listen to it every chance I get when I'm in town working.
Thank you. Just a reminder, you can listen to it anytime on the TuneIn app, or you can go to Armed Alabama website, and we live stream it there, or you can listen to any of the previous shows at your leisure.
Well, I'll certainly start doing that.
Thank you, Michael.
Here's my question right here. I'm a concealed carry holder, and I have a 38 that when I wear in the summertime with just a pair of cargo shorts and a T-shirt, I don't print. But I much rather carry my 9 Smith & Wesson Model 915 like I am tonight, but it prints real bad. Do y'all have any suggestions? When you're wearing summertime clothing, our climate's warm all year round. Of course, when it gets cooler, you can wear a little vest or this, that, and the other, and you don't print, no big deal. But y'all got any suggestions on that end?
That's a good question, Michael. That's the discussion that we have a lot.
There's 2 issues. One, if you're like all of us, you're probably a few pounds a little too heavy. But
you do know me.
Yeah, nobody's going to lose the weight. So if you want to look a little thuggish, you can buy one of these 3X T-shirts. And, it's huge, like the thugs wear, and you can wear one of those. But open carry, it doesn't matter that somebody can see the print in this state. But I know you're saying you work out of town, so you got to consider where you're traveling to, and it may make a difference. So you might want to try one of those 3X T-shirts.
Yeah, so we always tell anybody that's going to conceal carry that this is a lifestyle change. If you're going to do it and do it every day, you've got to make concessions in what you wear, what you drive, or how you act, or what you do. And one of those concessions is the clothing that you purchase. And Dr. Judd says you have to buy clothing that may be just a little bit larger, have a little bit more room in the waist, whether it be a shirt or pants.
Normally,
to be able to carry that firearm and have a good solid belt as well.
I look at it, concealed carrying isn't always comfortable, but it's comforting. How about that?
That's exactly right.
Great.
But, to carry with shorts and stuff, a lot of times when it's really hot in the summertime, I actually have a smaller pistol that I carry as a pocket pistol. And so if I'm going to the beach or something like that, then I definitely will carry the smaller pistol. But for the most part, I carry a mid-size pistol, and I make concessions for that. Thank you for your call, Michael. Next caller we have is Barry from Mobile, and your question, Barry, is actually for Mr. Stone.
Yes. Hello, Mr. Stone.
Hello, Barry. How are you?
Oh, fine. I'd like to know about your book, Trench Warfare.
What would you like to know about it in specific?
Well, actually, World War One.
Well, trench warfare is a metaphor. I was just referencing that because what I did was at the end of the year when I finished up this book, I started looking for the title. I learned that from my first book. Don't title it before you write it. Title it after you write it. And when I tried to figure out exactly what the theme of the book was, it was basically to describe the title is to describe the fact that we were engaged during a couple of year period of what I call trench warfare. It was we were fighting the progressives tooth and nail, on all fronts. So it's referencing the trench warfare of World War I in specific, but it has nothing to do with World War I.
Oh, I see.
All right. Well, thank you, Barry, for your phone call. Thank you, Steve, for your answer.
Barry knew about World War I and trench warfare.
Yeah, and I think that's a good metaphor. I think that was a good metaphor to use on that description. Yeah. Derek, calling from Fairhope.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? What's going on?
Hey, Derek.
Saw something on the news the other night, man, where it was actually, the TSA FAA guidelines for carrying a firearm through the airport to travel. Do you guys know anything about that? I figured that maybe, with the concealed carry, going across, certain state lines, but they actually had a little small report about carrying, a firearm with you while you travel. Didn't know, if you guys knew anything about that.
Yes. I assume they're talking about in the checked baggage on your Colorado hunting.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a rifle. It can be a pistol. I had a friend of mine that just traveled.
And, all of that, but I never heard of it.
Yes, and you can go on. Thank you, Derek, for the question. You can go on the airline's website, and they have a detailed
certain kind of cases.
Yes,
and
what kind of case
and,
you have, what kind of locks you have to have.
But they're not talking about wearing it on the plane.
No, he's talking about traveling with it.
Yeah.
But I actually had a friend of mine that traveled recently, and he took his pistol with him, and and he printed out what the airline had to say and their rules, and he followed it step by step. But it was just when he presented the pistol at the baggage counter or whatever, and the lady's reaction behind the counter, he said it was just priceless. She was just in total shock. And he was like, is there a problem here? I have your explanation on how to do this. And she was just completely befuddled. But we'll be back after this break.
Let her be befuddled.
This is Armed Alabama.
Don't get caught in the dark when the lights go out. Grayson Air Conditioning installs Honeywell home standby generators to keep you out of the dark. Grayson Air Conditioning repairs most other generator brands and offers service agreements to keep your generator ready when power is lost. With this agreement, you won't have to leave home when a storm is coming. Like Grayson AC on Facebook, on the web at GraysonAirConditioning.com, or stop by their offices, 7200 Cottage Hill Road, next to Regions Bank, or call 633-5665 for service.
It's so hot.
Man, it's hot.
It's really hot.
FM Talk 106.5 is keeping it cool this summer with your chance to win one of 8 Yeti coolers.
That's a lot of coolers.
It sure is. The most wanted cooler in the country can be yours.
I don't get it.
So here's how it works. Stop by one of our partner locations and register to win. Those places will be drawing names daily, and if they draw your name, you'll win a FM Talk 106.5 tumbler, and that gives you a 1 in 6 chance of winning a Yeti cooler. Complete details on Facebook and on FMTalk1065.com.
I just like it getting a little less hot.
Registered Ace Hardware in Creola, Spring Hill, or Muppet Road. Home of the helpful hardware folks. Gulf Coast Divers, providing the best scuba training on the Gulf Coast. Mossy Oak and Foley. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. And White Sands RV in Summerdale. With a vacation of a lifetime, you could win a Yeti cooler. Theft insurance not included. Visit all of our sponsors and keep it cool this summer with Yeti and FM Talk 106.5.
When buying a vehicle, don't waste your valuable time. David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota is committed to getting you the best deal on a new, used, or leased car. And David will do that without wasting your time. Don't play the back and forth game. See David Parnell today. Palmer's Toyota, 470 Schillinger Road South. That's David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, 639-0800, extension 168. Don't forget to see David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, Schillinger Road, just south of Airport. He won't waste your time.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
How you boys put those guns down?
Say what?
Well, we're not just gonna let you walk out of here.
Who's we, sucker?
Smith and Wesson and me.
And we're just not going to let you walk out of Armed Alabama. This is Judge Rusty Johnston with some legal information for one of our callers. He was asking questions about when he could shoot somebody, in his case, with his 45. And you can Google Code of Alabama. You'll get Code of Alabama 1975. That takes you to the electronic version. And go to 13A-3-20. And for the next maybe 15 sections, it will tell you when you can legally use force, deadly force, etc., in the defense of yourself or others. That's well worth reading. That's something we spend a couple of hours on in the class. But everybody needs to read that. Or you can get a phone app that's $1.99 called CCW from Workman's, I think it's Technology, LLC. It's a very good app and well worth $1.99.
Speaking of shooting somebody, I got a little news clip it here. A bystander shot and killed after a man takes a gun from a New York City police officer. Innocent bystander was fatally shot when a man who was causing a disturbance in the Bronx snatched a responding police officer's gun, and shots were fired. 15 shots were fired and he took the firearm from a police officer that responded to the call to the disturbance. So I'm sure that the police officer probably had a retention holster, and maybe maybe it wasn't completely secure or whatever. But I strongly recommend.
These people are crazy.
Yeah, I know all the police officers here within the city of Mobile and the sheriff officers. They have multiple retention holsters, whether it be triple or quadruple retention holsters, and that means it's harder for somebody to grab a firearm out of your holster. If you just have a single retention holster, it's easy for anybody to grab a firearm. It's just like grabbing a woman's purse. And if you carry open, this is something that the judge and I always recommend. If you are an open carrier, don't use Uncle Mike's holster, $10 from the local 5 and dime or whatever. Get a good solid holster that's a multi-retention holster that is made very secure.
And made for your gun, too.
Yes, and made for your gun, and also get a good solid belt. And that way nobody can come by and just snatch your firearm.
And you may spend $50 or $75 on that. That's not exorbitant. Do it. It may save your life.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and take the next caller from Mobile, Joe. Joe, welcome to Armour, Alabama.
Another great job, guys.
Thank you.
I got a question for the judge. He kind of he made me think about my question while he was talking in one of the earlier segments.
Good.
I have some folks, I hear folks on our side, I'm convinced I'm right on it, but again, feel the judge, I need to correct me if I'm not, that talk about our country like it's a democracy. My understanding is that we are not a democracy. We are a representative republic, a constitutional republic that is representative.
Right.
Am I off base there, Judge?
No, you're. I call it a federal republic, but a republic means it's representative. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We're not a democracy. They did not even count the popular vote for president until 1924, for instance. We vote for the electors who vote for the president. Of course, people think you're crazy when you try to explain it to them, but you're right.
Okay, well, thank you, Judge. I appreciate it. It means
Thanks
a lot
for the call.
more coming from you, Judge.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Joe. Next caller is Sherman from Grand Bay. What you got?
Hey, this is for Judge. The verdict of Nal Pras.
Yes.
Is that terminal?
Well, not necessarily. It can it can be brought up again as opposed to a dismissal with prejudice. In other words, if a case is not, and we're perverting a Latin term, but let's go with it. If a case is nol prost, because they just can't find you, let's say, it doesn't become final until the statute of limitations runs, perhaps. But most of the time when a case is settled, let's say one case is settled, and let's say maybe you take a fine, and the rest of the cases are nol prost, you may ought to feel a little uneasy, but they're good for their word. But technically it's not.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Enjoy the program.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sherman. Next caller is Jeff from Mobile, and your question is about background check database.
That's correct. My question is, and I bought several guns, and they run a background check on you, and that gives you the okay to buy a gun. But do they keep that information in a database somewhere, and do they know who has? I mean, I heard you mention earlier that that's supposed to not. They're not supposed to keep that or
they're
whatever.
not
and I
by
just wanted
law.
some clarity on that in case.
Yeah.
Do they know how many guns that you've been background checked to clear and to buy?
By law, they are not supposed to. There's been a little bit of a rumor, scandal, something claiming they have.
Yeah, we discussed it last week where they
But
actually,
by law, they're not supposed
Yeah.
to, and if they have, they need to prosecute the people. But, your excuse is, if they did keep it, I did buy that 8 years ago. I don't have it anymore, but I did buy it. And, I'll keep talking because you got cut off. Yeah, I did buy that, and I've since sold it. So that doesn't mean, I bought a lot of things in the last 25 years. I've bought a lot of cars. I don't have them anymore. But by law, they are not supposed to keep those.
Judge, along the same lines or the same avenue of questioning there's a individual that's text in, and they're asking, if you have a felony, can you own a black powder pistol rifle? What's the law on that if it's a percussion cap black powder?
There may be some felonies you can't, but as I understand it, that most felonies you can own black powder. And as I said, there may be violent felonies may be excluded. I have to look at that further. But that's a little quirk where...
Because they're considered a relic, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not even a relic because you could buy a Colt single action and it's a relic. But a black powder is excluded. But as I say, before he goes out and buys one, I want to make sure that it's all felonies or it's not just a nonviolent felonies are included. But yeah, that's a little quirk.
But that's a good question.
We'll give you an answer next week definitively, or as definitive as you can ever be. We probably ought to get to our sponsors, and as I said, we've got a wonderful benefactor that is paying the freight on BamaCarry.org. Go to their site. I know you like them. Join it, and we need help maybe doubling the ads on that. Adam?
So if you would like to advertise on Armed Alabama, or if you just want us to sponsor, as the judge said, please email us, adam@armedalabama.com or the judge@armedalabama.com. And we want to call out our advertisers, and we want to thank them for sponsoring the show. And be sure to patron them when you're buying goods or services. And those are David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, Dr. Justin Foster at Foster's Chiropractic of Tillman's Corner, Grayson's Air Conditioning, Mamoon Civic at Remax Realtors, and, of course, McCoy Outdoors.
Or at least don't shoplift while you're there. How about that? We'd like you to buy something, but just don't shoplift.
So we're thankful for their support of our show, and we wouldn't be here without them.
Remember, we've got social media going. Go to our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of stuff, especially about the crime wave that's happening now. We've got some training videos. And starting next week, we're going to have a new feature where we'll have a training video or two on our website that we're going to be making. The first one will be on AR-15 sites. And we have our archives both on YouTube and on our Armed Alabama site /archives. So go to that.
If you hadn't been to our YouTube channel, that's Armed Alabama, of course. And it's a really good channel that the judge has worked hard on. There's lots of good videos in there, and a lot of them are informational, and some of them may be just news snips or whatever. But as the judge said, we're going to try to do 4 to 5 minute videos and post a couple of them each month. But be sure and check them out.
See you next time.
We'll be back
next week, same time, same bat channel on
Armed Alabama.
We don't burn our trap cards down on Main Street, 'cause we like living right and being free.